Hello, everyone. My name is Todd Alsop. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Sunday service. I am your musical guest for this week. I'm going to kick things off with a little musical joy for you. I got this feeling inside my bones. It goes electric wavy when I turn it on. Up through my city, up to my home. Dying, no seating when we in our zone. Cause I got that sunshine in my pocket, got that good soul in my feet. Feel that hot blood in my body when it drops. I can't take my eyes up off it, moving so phenomenally. Boom, on the way we rock it, so don't stop. And under the lights, when everything goes, nowhere to hide when I'm getting too close. When you move where you already know. So just imagine. Nothing I can see but you when you dance, dance, dance. A feeling good creeping up on you, dance, dance, dance. All those things I shouldn't do, but you dance, dance, dance. And there ain't nobody leaving, so keep dancing. Can't stop the feeling, just dance, dance. Can't stop the feeling. Ooh, it's something magical. It's in the air, it's in my blood, it's rushing on. Don't need no reason, don't need control. That's so I no ceiling when I'm in my zone. Cause I got that sunshine in my pocket, got that good soul in my feet. Feel that hot blood in my body when it drops. I can't take my eyes off of it, moving so phenomenally. We on that way we rockin', so don't stop. And under the lights, when everything goes, nowhere to hide when I'm getting too close. When you move, well you already know. So just imagine. Nothing I can see but you when you dance, dance, dance. A feeling good creeping up on you, dance, dance, dance. All those things I shouldn't do, but you dance, dance, dance. And there ain't nobody leaving soon, so keep dancing. Can't stop the feeling, just dance, dance, dance. Can't stop the feeling, yeah. Can't stop the, no, can't stop the, can't stop the, can't stop the, can't stop the, yeah. Ooh, yeah. Nothing I can see but you and you. Yeah. Can't stop the feeling, just dance, dance, dance. All those things I shouldn't do, but you dance, dance, dance. Ain't nobody leaving soon, so keep dancing. Can't stop the feeling, I can feel it in my body. Can't you feel it in your body? Come on, I can feel it in my body. Don't you feel it in your body? Come on.
Got this feeling in my body.
Hey,
Got this feeling in my body.
yeah, come on.
What a great way to kick off this morning, Todd Alsop.
Thank you, sir.
Got the feeling to just dance, and then dance some,
I
right?
hope people were dancing out there.
I was dancing, maybe in my seat a little bit, but I was dancing here. It's so wonderful. So if you're joining us here from Southern California or the western part of the US of A, it's been so cold and dreary and damp here. We love having this energy to revitalize us to get out and dance. And I'm sure that you obviously feel it as well. And you've just returned from Sao Paulo, Brazil. So you've probably been doing a little dancing in the air, on the ground in Brazil, and here in the US of A. Are you back in New York?
I am, sir. It's cold here, too. Very cold.
Well, we have the warmth in our heart of being together. and the
Yes.
beat of that song. So I'm so happy you're here today.
Glad to be here. Nice to see everybody. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Reverend Dr. Keith Cox. I'm the spiritual leader here at the Center for Spiritual Living, Los Angeles. And welcome to our Sunday morning celebration service. What a great way to kick it off, as I said to Todd earlier. Certainly kicks us into gear to celebrate. Today, as we are joined by those of you on Zoom, we're also live for the first time today on our YouTube channel. And so I welcome to any and all of you that may or may not be new, or those that have transferred over from Facebook. We made a decision this week that it was no longer in our best interest to play with the realm of the Facebook meta universe. They seem to have such technical issues and certainly control issues on their part. And so we have listened to the guidance of Spirit and have moved into the YouTube live channel along with Zoom. So welcome to all of you. I'm happy to have you with us here today as we come together in this virtual space to connect to the power of the divine that gives us the zest, the energy to dance, 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 dance. What that means in metaphysical terms is that we are here to allow the joy of the divine that's within each and every one of us to rise up and make itself known. And so our service today is going to be a mixture of me chatting with you, music from Todd, a little bit of a ritual, looking at some slides that are our multimedia presentation, and just having a time and an opportunity to connect to each other in this virtual space. I'm going to put on the screen right now our slides to get us going before we move into more music. And so we are the Center for Spiritual Living, Los Angeles. Our visual statement is supporting individuals finding their personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. Today, I invite each of us to be open to that spiritual awakening. In the terms of this teaching, philosophy, and faith that we tune into here at the Center for Spiritual Living, Los Angeles, that means that we move into a remembrance in the sea of consciousness of the infinite nature of the divine that we each individualize and are imbued with. A great way to honor that power is to acknowledge it within ourselves and with each other. And so today, as we do each and every Sunday morning, let's take a moment to anchor ourselves into our awareness of the Spirit that is within. We do that by taking a deep breath in and exhaling and going through the act of namaste. Namaste is a Sanskrit word which means I bow to thee. In its most modern incarnation, it means the power of the divine, the source, life, God, if you will, that is within me. I now honor and acknowledge that is within you. In other words, I honor it and say hello. So let's place our hands together in prayer position if that feels comfortable for you. Take a deep breath in, closing our eyes. Exhaling, opening our eyes and leaning forward and envisioning all out there in the world that we say namaste to. The power of the divine that exists within me honors and acknowledges that which is within you. In this vein of honoring, we also welcome as a community all races, all religions, all countries of origins, all sexual orientations, all genders, all abilities. We literally stand with you, and we stand for you, and we stand with you so that you know that you, as an expression of the divine in all of your totality, is indeed safe here in this community, just as you are. And so please join me in acknowledging that, but knowing that our word has power and isn't bound by the screen or technology, that we say together, we welcome one and we welcome all. As a community, we've come together for a little over 30 years, teaching primarily the philosophy, faith, and way of life known as the science of mind. The science of mind is a philosophy, faith, and way of life. It's a teaching, if you will, where the focal point, the ideology is that there's only one activity taking place in life. It is that of the divine. And that you and I individualize that through our mind, that we get to experience the divinity in the way that we show up in life. Its ever-present nature is waiting for us, if you will, to call upon it, to use it in a way that's powerful, effective, and empowering, not only to ourselves, but evolving a consciousness within ourselves and others, because we're all interconnected, to impact and make good in the world. Our innate qualities as a divine being are peace and power and beauty and joy and light and life and love and wisdom. And so, as we practice using those qualities as a foundational state of mind and then acting in accordance with that, the law of life responds to us and brings back to us, through us, a life that is reflective of who we know ourselves to be. Just like the law of gravity that responds to us, the law of life responds to us. And Ernest Holmes teaches us and tells us that it responds to us by corresponding to our state of being. And so we have the opportunity in life to reflect on our state of being and then make a choice as to how we want to be the being of the divine as we move about the navigation of our humanity with our divinity and our divinity with our humanity. Once again, our vision statement for our community is supporting individuals finding their personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. Today, I invite all of us to affirm together that is indeed what's happening for each and every one of us. We acknowledge this and build upon it each and every Sunday by stepping into a ritual. This ritual is done every Sunday, hence the word ritual. But it's an opportunity for us to hear the words of the ritual and hear it anew each Sunday morning and to reflect upon what our week has been like and have we allowed these qualities of the divine to be present in our life, and if not, to let go and to think anew. The ritual is called calling in the light. I invite each of us to look at the flickering flames of the candle on the screen, the image on the screen, and let it be a reminder to each of us that we each are just like these candles, unique in our own way, flickering in our own way, flaming in our own way, and yet at the same time we all exude the same light. Calling in the light. Today we perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples and all faiths, all sentient beings come from the one great universal presence, which we call spirit. The purpose of this ritual is to draw into our gathering this morning a more conscious awareness of the oneness, our oneness, and the qualities that we possess as complete expressions of the divine. The quality that I would like to focus on today is love. As we close out our month with the theme of love is in the air, let's remember that Dr. David Hawkins tells us that we're often confused to believe that love is an emotion. It's actually a state of awareness, our awareness of the oneness of life. Dr. Holmes teaches us that love is the self-givingness of spirit, whose desire is to create more of itself out of itself, and it does that through each one of us. Love. My acronym for love is Life's One Vital Energy. This week, one of our beloved members reached out to me and said she keeps remembering it as Life's One Vital Essence. So fabulous as well. Today, let's each connect to that essence that's within us and listen to the Sanskrit proverb as a guide with the light. Let's each look to this day, for it is life, the very life of life. In its brief course lie all the realities and the truth of existence, the joy of growth, the splendor of action, and the glory of power. For yesterday is but a memory, and tomorrow is only a vision. But today well lived makes yesterday a memory of happiness, and every tomorrow a vision of hope. Look well, therefore, to this to anchor this into our being, into our awareness, allowing it to promote a spiritual awakening, is through music. Todd's going to come on the screen and take us through our song, Calling in the Light. It's a call and response song, and the lyrics for the portion to respond in call and response is on the screen. He will guide you through that.
Calling in the light, calling in the light, calling in the light of love. Calling in the light, calling in the light, calling in the light of love. Now this is the part you guys sing with me. I am love, I am peace in my heart. I am free, I am spirit, I am soul. All together we are whole. Calling in the light, calling in the light, calling in the light of love. Calling in the light of love. And so it is, and so it is, and so it is, and so it is, and so it is.
And so it is. Amen. Todd, I love the sparkly screen behind you.
Thank you.
It's very reflective of your personality. Sparkly and colorful and fun and vibrant and reflective at the same time.
This was a new invention during COVID when I was doing live stream concerts. I had to figure out how to create backdrops. So it started off with shower curtains, fancy shower curtains, and then it became going to Mood Fabric in Midtown and finding inexpensive textiles to create like interesting.
I get it. You know, it's hard to believe we're still doing this, and yet that's part of it as well, this Zooming. And so if we weren't Zooming, we wouldn't be able to enjoy your gifts of music and your talent because you're on the other side of the US of A, right? So there are gifts and blessings and everything, but I can relate, as you know, during our rehearsal this morning, our sound check, I was running around and making faces, and you were like, do you not like this music? And it was somehow all the lighting in my room got moved around, and I haven't been able to get it back to where it needed to be, and I was being blinded by one light and reflections of another, and it was a lot, but I think I've got it figured out. So,
Yes.
got it
Like,
figured
Keith,
out.
I think you're multitasking, but do you hate this song?
He did say that. I said, no, I'm definitely multitasking. Before I could even respond to that, Travis came to my defense, right? I love it. So, but in that vein, Todd, you always picks the most wonderful music for us, and of course, deliver it so beautifully and really spiritually in all that you do. So, what is the next song you have for us?
We're doing a little song called Love Is All Around.
I
So
love
the
it.
theme we were talking about today was Love Is in the Air. We've done Love Is in the Air a bunch.
I know.
And I wanted to do something a little bit new that takes this theme a little bit
Well, good. I look
new
forward to
directions.
hearing
This is
it.
Love Is All Around
Hey.
by a band called Wet, Wet, Wet.
Well, that's what we've been in Southern California for the last 4 days.
Have you?
Going to be again, I think, in the next 3 days.
very
And by the
timely.
way, 3 wets doesn't even begin to cover it. So, so go for it.
I feel it in my fingers. I feel it in my toes. Love is all around me, and so the feeling grows. It's written on the wind, It's everywhere I go. Oh, yes, it is. So if you really love me, come on and let it show. You know I love you, I always will. My mind's made up by the way that I feel. There's no beginning, there'll be no end. 'Cause on my love, you can depend, yeah. I see your face before me as I lay on my bed. I kinda get to thinking of all the things that you said. Oh, yes, you did. You gave your promise to me, and I gave you mine. I need someone beside me in everything that I do. Oh, yes, I do. You know I love you, I always will. My mind's made up by the way that I feel. There's no beginning, there'll be no end. 'Cause on my love, you can depend. Yeah, 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 yeah. It's written in the wind. It's everywhere I go. So if you really love me, come on and let it show. Come on and let it show. Come on and let it show. Yeah, yeah, come on and let it show. Let it show. Yeah.
So touching and beautiful. The just so it's the lyrics. It's like it's woven through consciousness, and then your backdrop was moving like the sea behind you. So it's fabulous. Really, really was. So it kept, as I would see that, it reminded me of that quote of spiritual awakening is the remembrance of being in the sea of consciousness, one infinite expression. And there's more to it than that, but that's the paraphrase. So beautiful. Thank you, Todd.
Thank you so much. Thanks, everybody.
So today for my message, I decided to go a little old school in what we've done a bit through Zoom, but I haven't done in quite a while, and to take the Science of Mind wisdom cards and shuffle them and pull one and let it be the guide for our message today, knowing that since we are one in the infinite sea of consciousness slash mind, that each card or a card will resonate with one or more of us, and know that that's exactly what we needed to hear. I wanted to have a little bit of fun doing that this morning because this month, as much as we have been reflecting on love as the self-givingness of spirit, it's all been a bit serious. And so let's play around a little bit. And if there's anything any of you want to know relative to one of the cards or anything in general, feel free to pop it in the chat window, and I will be happy to do my best to address that while we play and shuffle cards here. I haven't been looking at them. I don't know why I feel the need to make that statement, but I'm going to shuffle and then let this one speak to me as to what we need to know. Of course, this is the way it works if we trust mind. The card that comes up, I'm going to put it on the screen so you guys can see it. Hopefully you can, which says, today is new. And it shows the beautiful flowers and the sunrise. And the quote on the back says, "Today is new, and I'm newly awakened in it. And I believe with dauntless faith that my good, in full measure, comes to me from God today." So true. The key to evolving in our teaching and knowing who we are as divine being is to remember that our good exists and that it is present for us, and that not only is each day new, which is a metaphor here for each moment is new if we're willing to believe that. It's up to us to remember that and tune into that when it's happening. This morning, I had the most beautiful morning and had gone for a walk with Sweeney, and just everything was flowing easily and naturally, and I was really looking forward to playing in this realm of drawing the cards. And I get a phone call from a very dear friend of mine who's out of town and had some issues and was concerned about whether his house had he was coming home today, whether his house had electricity or heat or all of this mishigas, if you will, and was like, "Can you run up there and do that?" And was like, "No," and it upset my entire plan for the day, and then needed to deal with that. And three things came up for me in that process. And one was the God in me. It's important for the God in me to honor the God in me while honoring the God in him, and being able to trust what can work and say no to what doesn't work for me with power and with love. To believe that my good isn't impacted, meaning the flow of the divine through me, no matter what's going on in that moment, and to not let any of that take me off my game, if you will, meaning my awareness of myself in life and how I show up, and trusting that there is good and there is order in life. The next piece of that is, I was working with a client this week who had this huge aha of her saying, "I've come to the realization and the remembrance that I am a person who enjoys giving in life. That's just who I am." And I stopped and thought to myself, for me to experience this good, I must be willing to give it. And that shows up in unconditional love, while at the same time honoring boundaries and myself. And it was through that remembrance I relaxed and it all fell into place. Of course, why? Because that falling into place is always there for us if we're willing to trust it, to open to it, and then to be a conscious participant in not only the receiving of it, but the giving of it. That is the today is a new day thing, because it's not, once again, bound by the rising and setting of the sun. It's a state of mind that we all have the opportunity to express and experience. Next card, truth. In our ignorance of the truth, we've missed the highest power we possess. Same thing. In that scenario, if I had allowed myself to get bothered emotionally and not trust that good is present, that all is well, then my ignorance of owning that would have been me missing it, missing the opportunity to use it and to trust it and to affirm it and then to allow it to reveal itself to me. We all have those scenarios as we go through our life, through our day, through the living of life itself. Okay, next card. Let's see. Possibility. The potential possibility of what we call the highest and the lowest is inherent in everything. They're not different things. They are the same thing functioning at different levels. In different ways, this is both really high-minded and difficult to comprehend, while at the same time so very true. What it's telling us is that no matter what we're going through in life, the potential possibility to reveal the good that Ernest wrote of in 2 cards ago is always there. That it's the different levels means our awareness of it. If you look at the map of consciousness by Dr. David Hawkins, the highest of awareness, of tuning into our divinity, of living in peace and love and joy, There's inherent possibility there as much as there is inherent possibility in living in guilt and shame and fear. It's different levels of consciousness. As you and I continue on our journey of finding personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening, it's up to us to be open to that awakening, that remembrance of living in the infinite sea of consciousness, and the willingness to change our mind. Now, let's remember one of our great sages and seers and teachers, Dr. Maureen Hoyt, has taught us that our spiritual awakenings so often come from one of two levels of mind. One is inspiration, the other is desperation. So no matter where we may find ourselves, we can open to this awakening and move. Move where? Yes, we've been taught for many years to treat affirmative prayer and move your feet. But in addition to moving your feet, it's moving your mind, moving our way of thinking, our way of being. And oftentimes that movement is simply being willing to be open to the possibility that something better, more good exists. And that we get to experience that when we're willing to allow it to reveal itself through us. So often then what is required of us is to say out loud to ourselves, I'm willing to see a new perspective. I'm willing to have a new idea. I'm willing to let go and let God. God, in this sense, remember, is an infinite, impersonal, omnipresent, creative power. Shuffle, 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 shuffle. Ooh, almost dropped them. Shuffle and card. Demonstrate peace. It says no one can demonstrate peace and cling to unhappiness. It's pretty self-explanatory, but it's important for us to remember that peace is not an external thing. It's an internal state of mind and awareness. Dr. Ernest Holmes defines it in the book, The Science of Mind, as a state of inner calm. I like to look at that in addition to that as a acronym, of course. Purposeful energy activates conscious evolution. I believe that we're all, by means of wanting to be or being participants in this philosophy, faith, way of life, wanting to evolve in our consciousness, therefore requiring us to have conscious evolution, an intentional evolutionary process of our mind. And the way to do that is by tapping into purposeful energy. Now, that is a very high-minded idea because it conjures up what is purposeful energy. Purposeful energy in its most simplistic form is to change your thinking and change your life, meaning affirm and state, I am willing to have this experience. I am willing for a new idea. I intend to shift my thinking. Why are those two words important? First, willingness rates very high in the map of consciousness. That state of mind moves us towards a higher consciousness. But that act of willing, that act of intention, as Deepak Chopra tells us, he says that inherent within the seed of intention is the fulfillment of its desire. Once we move into that state of openness, of receptivity, the mechanics of the law of life go to work. Remember, the law of life responds to us by corresponding to our state of being, to our state of mind. To have a broadened, more expansive state of mind begins with the willingness and the intention and the tapping into that possibility. It's one step at a time. One step at a time. Let's move to the next card. Discovery. The first great discovery man, the human, made was that I could think. This was the day when they first said, I am. This marked their first day of personal attainment. We're taught in this teaching to be conscious and conscientious as to what words follow I am in life. And certainly that is critical and important for us as we navigate life, not just through that act of conversation that we're having with our own self of I'm annoyed, I'm unhappy, I'm pissed, I'm frustrated, I'm sick, right? All of that stuff, because our consciousness hears that. So it's important for us to become tuned in and intentional with our self-talk. But more than that, it's important for us to be directive on our self-talk. As I talked about last week when I learned with Raymond Charles Barker to go and stand in front of the mirror and say, I love you. It's taking the energy, taking the time, taking the willingness to get quiet, to feel, as the song that Todd just sang was talking about, and then to direct mind through the language of I am the power of the divine fully expressed. I am thinking higher thoughts. I am peace and power. I am love and joy. I am beauty. I am light, life, and love fully expressed right now. And I am open to it revealing itself to me. And I am joyous in the experience of it making itself known. I am an expression of all that is. Feel the difference? And so very simple. And if for some reason you find yourself with the inability to do that for yourself, then sit down and write it out. Sit down and just continually use a mantra of the qualities of the divine, of I am peace, I am power, I am beauty, I am joy, I am light, I am life, I am love, I am wisdom. That is stepping into the discovery of the power that we're imbued with that shifts our way of being when we're open to using it in a way that is indeed empowering. And the truth is, no matter where we're at on this journey of finding personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening, that fundamental and foundational spiritual practice, the practice of I am, is incredibly healthy and practical and impactful and effective. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. I started to do the Green Acres song. Dun-dun-dun-dun. Whack, whack. Dun-dun-dun-dun. Whack, whack. Dun-dun-dun-dun. During this crazy rain, I actually watched an episode of Green Acres the other night. All right, here we go. Experience. It says, never limit your view of life by any past experience. It's a big one because so often that's the framework that we own, that we know. And yet if we are tuning in to the desire for conscious evolution, for a continual act of spiritual awakening, of personal self-empowerment being a way of our life, we must be willing to be open to new experiences. We must be willing to imagine life being different than it was before. Now, I want to be really clear that I intentionally and clearly did not use words that are judgment-based prior to that. I didn't say a life that's better. I didn't say a life that's worse. I just said a life that's different. We get to decide how we want that different to be and how we want to feel in that. It's up to you and it's up to me, and we all know that because the principle of life is not bound by precedent, meaning it's not bound by what it's created through each and every one of us and us as a whole in life before, that it's bound, therefore it's boundless. It's infinite. It's open to filling in the mold that we create in our own mind, while not letting that mold being limiting. You and I have inherent within us the possibility of co-creating the life that we desire, both in material form as well as in a state of being form, a state of awareness form. And I feel so compelled to say, as I just said, that while remembering that the physical form, that material form that I speak of, is obviously always a result of our mind, what we're thinking, what we know, and how we know ourselves to be. Because the universe is within you. The universe is with you. Holmes says this: all the power of the universe is with you. Feel it, know it, and then act as though it were true. Last night I opened the back door just to see what was going on in the wildness of the weather, and as I looked out the door, I saw the moon in the western sky. And it was just a sliver of a moon, but there was this aura around it that was multicolored. And initially my mind went to, I wonder what kind of crap's in the air that's causing that aura, right? But then I shifted my thinking and thought, no, that's the vibrational frequency of the light that's reflecting off of it. And it's all good. And the energy that's in the molecules of that light that's reflecting, that's also the energy that's in the molecules that's in the moon, that's also the energy that's in the molecules of the cosmos, that's way beyond what I can see, is also the energy of the molecules that's within me right now. And I stood there looking at it with the raindrops falling on my head, feeling empowered, remembering that there is a wealth of inherent possibility within me. And that, as the theory of quantum entanglement tells us through quantum physics, that when I speak my word, the energy that's within that can affect a molecule in the furthest of the cosmos. That's true. That's science. And what does that mean? It means that it's an opportunity for me in this moment and for each one of us to remember the interconnected, interwoven nature of life itself that we are all imbued with, and the power that we have to create a shift in our life, to create a new way of being, a new way of thinking, and to settle anything that shows up in mind that is contrary to peace, to own the peace itself, and to be a conscious participant in the direction in which we want our life to be and to go. Shuffling for a new card. And it is this one. Believe. I just thought as I read that, boy, these are all very fundamental science of mind stuff. And I thought, wait a second, that's the whole point of the cards, right? Fundamental, foundational. Holmes writes, when we treat, we do not wish. For those that may be new to this, the term treat is a breakdown of the word spiritual mind treatment, which is a tool that Ernest Holmes created for affirmative prayer, one of declaration, not supplication. So he says, when we treat, in other words, when we affirm, when we pray in affirmative fashion, we do not wish, we know. We do not dream, we state. We do not hope, we accept. We do not pray, we announce. We do not expect something is going to happen. We believe that it has already happened. Very foundational, fundamental part of the philosophy of this teaching. The reason that this matters, what Holmes is telling us here, that we believe it's already happened, is because in truth, it already has. Because the act of manifestation is a revelation, a revealing of that which already is. In this philosophy, faith, and way of life, known as the science of mind, the tenets of this teaching is that everything that ever could exist already exists. Now, one might say, well, that's not true. It hasn't turned from the invisible into the molecular form of visible yet. And yes, that part is true. But Holmes is speaking of it in the level of the absolute and the infinite nature of mind itself. That once it moves through that creative process and becomes form, that's the invisible becoming visible. But it's important for us to remember that the tangible and the visible is finite. It eventually no longer exists. It returns to the infinite. So it has an ending where the energy behind it doesn't. I'm going to let that be what it is. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to throw it in the comments section. Immortality. From the standpoint of immortality, we may have a body within a body to infinity. That really furthers what I was just saying, is that yes, we have a body, a physical body, but it's within the body of the realm of physicality that's also within the body of consciousness, if you will. So when one asks, do we believe that one goes to an afterlife, the very foundational, fundamental, spiritual truth to that in this philosophy, faith, and way of life is no, because all that there is life. So life itself is not bound by what form it takes. It just is. So the question then that we're often really is asked is, where do we go when we leave this planet? I don't know. And nor does anyone else. However, what we do believe is, and look at this teaching through a very logical way, is that the energy that inhabits our body came from somewhere. So it makes sense that it's going to go somewhere when it leaves here, because our belief is that it's infinite. Now, when I say somewhere, that is wanting to classify that in terminology or language that we understand, meaning that it must be housed somewhere, it must exist somewhere. But that's how we know it to be in this life. Who knows what's beyond this? Two more. We'll do two more. How about that? So next card is a Sea of Perfect Life, S-E-A. So interesting how they all lead one to the other, isn't it? It really is what we teach. We live in a sea of perfect life, and we should take time to understand and sense this in our imagination. Perfect life with an uppercase P. In this teaching, that matters because one can argue, well, my life's not perfect. I have a head cold, I'm sniffling, I'm sneezing, it's been cold, I've been wet, my feet, blah, 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 blah. But that's not what we're talking about here. He's speaking of perfect as in the realm of consciousness, of energy, the absolute, the creative power. It is perfect innately. And you and I express that. Therefore, we are living in it and as that. And the more that we take time to understand that and expand on it and understand it and expand on it, and we must do that differently than before because we're in a different state of mind, and then sense it in our imagination, meaning how can we imagine that we can use this understanding in a way, much like I did in looking at the moon last night, then that affects our way, our being, that affects our awareness of our awareness, that affects our state of mind, thus affecting our experience of it. And so there's an invitation there for each of us to tap into this sea of perfect life and to then imagine our life being more reflective of it, like the aura of the moon itself. Last card. you are eternal. Perfect. We are in an infinite mind, and infinite mind is also in us. It's by this mind that we think. This mind is eternal, therefore we are eternal. I believe that if we're willing to believe that, not in an esoteric fashion, but believe it at a cellular level, meaning allowing that which is within us to rise up and make itself known, which affirms and confirms that, then the awakening that we all desire to experience makes itself known. And then by tuning into the experiences of life, those daily, momentary experiences, then we're provided the opportunity for that personal self-empowerment. At the end of the day, it's up to us. That's not punitive, and it's not judgmental. It's actually something to celebrate. It provides us with that which is so different in other philosophies or spiritual practices, which believes that we must defer to that which is outside of us. Here, we're given the great opportunity to be informed and to allow to believe it that it's already within us. And our role in manifesting more of it is to let it out. So then I'm going to move through the front of the cards again for us to reframe it. So today is new. What we're here to do is to live in truth and to not forget that everywhere there is possibility. To experience and express that, we're here to demonstrate peace, both as a state of inner calm and using it as purposeful energy to activate conscious evolution. That's the great discovery that came to the human. But it's also the great discovery that's waiting for you and I to use it in a way today that is more effective than ever before. We get to look at our experience of how we use it in life to make a decision as to how we want to use it differently. It's important for us to remember that the universe is with us. It's with us not externally, but internally. It's infinite, so it's everywhere. So it's up to us to believe. Change your thinking, change your life, change your beliefs, and your life will change. So we are immortal. The energy that's within us is immortal. Stop wasting our spiritual coin, our time on wondering what's after this or what came before this. Just live in the moment of that which already is. And to remember that we already live in a sea of perfect life. It's around us, it's within us, it's everywhere, because you and I are eternal. And so it is. And thank you so very much. That was fun. I hope it was fun for you. Todd's going to come back on and take us through a really beautiful ballad love song that will continue to anchor this in.
Have you ever fed a lover with just your hands? Close your eyes and trust it, just trust it. Have you ever thrown a fistful of glitter in the air? Have you ever looked fear in the face and said, I just don't care? It's only half past the point of no return, the tip of the iceberg, the sun before the burn, the thunder before the lightning, and the breath before the freeze. Have you ever felt this way? ever hated yourself for staring at your phone? Your whole life been waiting on the ring to prove you're not alone. Have you ever been touched so gently you had to cry? Have you ever invited a stranger to come inside? It's only half past the point of oblivion, the hourglass on the table, the walk before the run, the breath before the kiss, and the fear before the phrase. Have you ever felt this way? La 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 la. There you are, sitting in the garden, clutching my coffee, calling me sugar. You call me sugar. Have you ever wished for an endless night? Lassoed the moon and the stars and pulled that rope tight. Have you ever held your breath and asked yourself, will it ever get better than tonight? Tonight.
So touching. And then
I like that song.
And then the sea moves behind you. I love it. Thanks for being here today, Todd.
It's always a pleasure. I always love being
It's a
here.
pleasure to have you here. And I know we've got you booked for upcoming dates as well. So just
Yeah.
beautiful and wonderful. And it's so empowering to witness you do what you love. I can tell you love doing what you do.
I do. Thank you.
So it's really beautiful. A great example for all of us. Thank you. So I'm going to place on the screen now the methods and opportunity to support our community financially. And know that all that support us and all that you support us with is deeply acknowledged and honored and welcomed. You can go to our website, csl-la.org, and click on Donate, or go to the app in the App Store, Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles. Click on the left bars and the screen will come up and you'll see the Donate tab. Or we'll be happy to take a check, and our address is 1200 North La Brea Avenue, West Hollywood, California, 90038. Or my phone number is on the screen should you want me to handle for you privately, or you have any questions, I'll be happy to do that. So let's have Todd take us through our song, Love Is My Decision, while we each take a moment and support our community.
Love is my decision. It's up to me to give of my heart. Love is my decision. No one else can tell me to start. And once I decide to change my mind, source will show me how. 'Cause love is my decision. It's my decision right here, right now. Once I decide to change my mind, source will show me how. Yes, love it's my decision. Right here, right now.
And so I affirm for each of us that love indeed is our decision, meaning that we open up to allowing the self-givingness of spirit to do its thing through us unencumbered, that we change our mind in regards to love being an emotion, and we open up to it being an awareness of the thing itself. And so we give more to ourselves today by saying yes to it as it responds in like kind, and so it is. Wonderful, thank you. Todd, thank you so very much for being here today. We want to thank Todd for being here as our musician. A big thank you to Travis Smith for supporting us audibly, for Robert Hensley for guiding us with our social media, and for making sure we got connected live today through YouTube. A big thank you to those of you that joined us through YouTube, and know that that is our, as far as we know, that's our methodology going forward for our social media live. And to each and every one of you that joined us through Zoom, if you want to stay on and say a brief hello to each other, we'll do that after the service for those of you that are Zooming. What we have going on in the upcoming week is we have our midweek morning meditation that takes place at 8:30 on Wednesday mornings. You can find that information on our weekly email that goes out if you'd like to sign up for that if you're not receiving it, or through the app in the App Store, Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles, or through our various social media sites at Facebook and Instagram, as well as now on our YouTube channel. You can find information, or you can find stuff at our website, CSL-LA.org. We have a text that goes out each morning at 7:30 that's called A New Thought for the Day. I invite you all to sign up for that and to share that with your friends. I want to let you know that our next in-person gathering is March 12th, so please put that in your calendar. On March 11th, there is a community service opportunity that's taking place with Congregation Colami, the community that we share space with at our home at 1200 North La Brea Avenue. Details on that are forthcoming, but it's from 1 to 3 o'clock that afternoon, and it's a wonderful opportunity to make a difference by making sandwiches and pack them up, and it goes to a center that then goes out and distributes them to people on the streets. And so it's a great way to give and to be in service and to share our good and to also support our brothers and sisters at Congregation Colami. So without further ado, we're going to close out our service today with a meditation and with a prayer. And know that if you would like any further information about who we are, please feel free to reach out, as well as if you would like to seek a practitioner for spiritual guidance, that information is on our website as well. So if it feels comfortable for you, I invite you to close your eyes. And just feel the presence of the power of the divine. Feel the energy of the spontaneity of the message today. The energy of the beautiful music shared by Todd from his heart. And then to remember that we are indeed one with that infinite, all-creative power. Yearning, if you will, to express more of itself through us. And so we choose today to be the day, as a new day. As an opportunity within us to relax and release and let go. And as we do so, the power and the presence of this energy within us that is immortal and infinite, that is the sea of perfect life, we allow it to make itself known to us in a new way. which brings us comfort and joy. And in this revelation, we find peace. And then use the peace that is there in a purposeful, intentional way. And we choose to be willing to let it out and to make a difference. So we choose gratitude for the ability to live life. And we choose gratitude for our life, which is the life of the divine. So we inhale and exhale, just letting it be. And affirm together, and so it is. Thank you all for being here today. May you have a magnificent day and week. Remember to be the love and to be yourself. Thank you.